Okay, hello, welcome. My name is Wally Sarkisian with Harut Sasunian. And today is the day where Armenian all in coma. And so Pashinyan put his money where his mouth is. Here is what he said and what he did today.
Ղարաբաղը հանձնելու ենք Փարուխի դեպքերը ձեզ օրինակ։ Ղարաբաղը հանձնելու ենք Փարուխի դեպքերը ձեզ օրինակ։ Կտոր։
So there you go. They're sitting, talking as though nothing happened. No Armenian soldier being killed, you know. So there you go. So the two criminals sitting in there. So we'll see what Mr. Sasunian gonna say about Pashinyan crime.
Discussing the potential of opening the border and establishing diplomatic relations, at least to begin with. And then the second meeting was between Prime Minister Pashinyan, President Aliyev of Azerbaijan, Charles Michel, the President of the European Council, and President Macron of France. So there were two meetings. Even though there were two separate meetings, they're interconnected. That's because Turks and Azeris wanted to be connected. Erdogan has put a condition on improving relations with Armenia, on Armenia signing a peace treaty with Azerbaijan, which means giving up Artsak's independence and possibly giving up part of the eastern borders of Armenian Republic. Also means giving up a corridor linking Azerbaijan proper with the exclave of Nakhichevan. And for those who don't know, the difference between corridor and a road is that corridor means that the road that Azeris will travel on through Armenia, that road will belong to Azerbaijan. Whereas the road is just the road that belongs to Armenia and Azeris can travel on it, which is something Armenia already signed on November 9, 2020 after the war as a concession as a result of the defeat in the war. But of course, Azerbaijan and Turkey are never satisfied with whatever concessions Pashinyan makes. Every day they add new conditions, they make new demands. That was the brainchild of President Macron, and to discuss pan-European issues. And so let's start with each one of these two meetings. The meeting with Erdogan. Now, as I said yesterday in my interview, and I'm going to repeat it, before we go into any details, any of the conditions or demands, is that we have two leaders sitting across the table from each other, supposedly negotiating, but Pashinyan has no inexperience, does not know what he's doing, does not know how to negotiate to gain anything in the interest of Armenia, whereas in front of him is Erdogan, who's a fox, who knows exactly what he's doing. He's done this for 20 years, and on top of the centuries of Ottoman experience, playing on a tightrope, trying to deal with both sides at the same time, benefiting from both sides, and telling each side that he is their favorite, and doing everything he can to take advantage for Turkey. And Erdogan, whether we like him or not, and many of us don't like him, but he's done what's best for Turkey. And he has extended his military force across the Caucasus to northern Cyprus, to Libya, to Ethiopia, Somalia, Syria, Iraq. So he knows what he's doing. So that's the first outcome will be. So that's the basic problem that we have before you even say hello. So we sit down and they talk. We don't have the full report of what they discussed privately. That was not disclosed, but there was a press release from Prime Minister Pashinyan's office that basically said we're negotiating our plans. We're to normalize our relations, general things like that, nothing specific. And then President Erdogan gave a half-hour press conference in Prague. He talked about many issues, but as opposed to Pashinyan's demeanor, which was very meek and humble and sort of not knowing where to hide, Erdogan stood very correct, erect, and he spoke very arrogantly. He even said repeatedly in the press conference that Turkey is a very important country for Europe. All the countries look up to Turkey, that Turkey is playing a major role in the Ukraine-Russia war, that he's arranged for the grain deal to cross the Bosphorus, that he's trying to encourage a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. He spoke about Cyprus, northern Cyprus, which Turkey is occupied for the last around half a century. And he was also very arrogant about that. And he also spoke about the dispute with Greece, very arrogantly also. And a couple of weeks ago, he had given a speech in Turkey saying that the Greek leaders should understand that one night, suddenly, we're going to attack.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder of the attack that Ataturk did on Smyrna, or in Armenian Izmir,
Yeah.
After the genocide, and burned the city down and killed thousands of Armenians and Greeks and took over the city and threw the minorities in the sea. So again today, when a Greek reporter asked him, did he mean by that statement, suddenly will come one night, and whether that was a declaration of war on Greece, he said, he repeated again his threat, and he said the Greek leaders understood exactly what he was talking about. And he says this applies not only to Greece, it applies to every country that opposes us. So he's basically throwing out a challenge to the whole world, as if he's a superpower,
Yeah.
which he's not. But this is what happens when the Europeans and the Americans, for the last 50, 60 years, spoil the guy, and every time they try to accommodate him, make concessions to him, so naturally he thinks he's important, and he's always going to get his way. So he dares to attack the President of the United States, no repercussions. He attacks NATO, he attacks Macron, says the nastiest things against the French. He accuses Israel of committing a Holocaust. He has feuds with Egypt, with Saudi Arabia, with the Gulf, UAE, and of course Syria and Iraq, Greece, Cyprus, Armenia. So that's what happens when you spoil a man, and he thinks he's very important. He becomes very arrogant.
So on the meeting, but Armenia, do Armenian can do anything at this stage, or it's just accept everything and I mean,
Well, let me honestly say that Armenia, of course, it's in a very bad shape. It was in a bad shape before the war because we're a weak, small country. surrounded by much powerful enemies. And after the war, we became even weaker. We even lost most of our armaments, weaponry, and we were defeated. We lost the war. So that puts you in a disadvantage in any negotiation. The only important thing is that if you have a leader like Pashinyan who doesn't know what he's doing, he cannot take advantage of any opportunity, even the smallest opportunity. Whereas if we had a competent leader, even he would be in the bad shape that we're in, but he would look for opportunities here and there, trying to take advantage of opportunities and try to do something, even something small, out of it. And it's not like Pashinyan, where he's just saying yes, yes, sir, to any request from Turkey and Azerbaijan. And so that's the problem that Armenia is in. So they talked, and they, according to Erdogan, they announced that they're going to normalize relations step by step, that their foreign ministers are going to continue the discussions. And already for almost 9 months, since January, the deputy speaker of the Armenian parliament, Rupen Rupinyan, has been meeting with Turkish counterpart Serdar Kilic, who's a seasoned diplomat with more years of experience than in the entire age of Rupinyan. They've met four times, and first time in Moscow, and then 3 subsequent times in Vienna. And they haven't really accomplished much. But again, we have the same problem with Rupinyan. Rupinyan is not a diplomat. He knows nothing about diplomacy. The only claim to his fame is that he is a member of Pashinyan's political party. That's all he knows. He knows nothing else. So again, he's sitting across the table with a very experienced, shrewd Turkish diplomat. And again, you can't have any hopes of anything positive coming out of that kind of a meeting. It's like I said yesterday, the wolf and the sheep, and the wolf is going to end up winning.
Yeah.
So the other important issue to remind everybody is that for 9 months, these people are meeting repeatedly and discussing for hours and hours. What is it they're talking about behind closed doors? We have no idea. It makes no sense, because if the purpose was to open the Turkish-Armenian border, Turkey is the one that closed the border in 1993 or 93. And if Turkey wanted to really open the border, if they were honest about opening the border, Erdogan has to give the order, and within few hours, the border will be opened. Armenia is not the one that shut down the border. Turkey did. So if Turkey wants the border open, gives an order open. There's nothing to meet for 9 months, to discuss for hours. I know that what the real purpose is for these lengthy meetings is to get concessions out of Armenia, even though they keep saying no preconditions on the meetings.
Yeah.
But already, on one hand, they say no preconditions. On the other hand, they say, oh, we are coordinating all our moves and decisions with Azerbaijan. That's what Turkey is saying. And they also say that Armenia should sign a peace treaty, giving Karabakh the corridor, giving the corridor to Azerbaijan, and also settle the border dispute, which from our point of view, there's no dispute. Azeris keep disputing the border so they can take more property. And they not only they attacked in September and took more territory, they attacked in May 12 of 2021 and encroached inside Armenia's territory. And since May 12, 2021, the Azeri troops are sitting inside Armenia's border. And not only Pashinyan hasn't even tried to do anything to dislodge them, he doesn't even talk about it.
Yeah.
One would think that talking about it is easy. You just open your mouth and say something and complain.
Look, every leader, even as you saw, even Erdogan, they call press conference They answer questions. This guy, this idiot Pashinyan, because he knows people are gonna ask him questions, he doesn't have the answer. He never do. He's gonna come probably back and again do on the Facebook with that girl and answer questions with it. So he refused to do that because this was all planned. This 2 year what Pashinyan did, he created all this vicious police, security, and all apparatus. And so that's why he knows what he was going to do. And so that he'd be safe. And so he never give press conference. Just a few minutes you said, we don't know what he's saying, what he's doing. And there's nobody in Armenia is saying anything. It's just like the whole Armenian nation is totally muted.
Well, as opposed to Pashinyan, who I agree with you, did not give a press conference, which is a disservice to Armenia's national interest. Erdogan, on the other hand, was very clever. He spoke for 30 minutes in front of the international press.
Yeah.
First, he made introductory remarks for a dozen minutes. Then he asked questions from everybody who was there from different countries, Sweden, Greece, et cetera, and he answered. And he was shining on the stage. He was bragging. He was saying how important Turkey is, and how he's doing this, he's doing that. He badmouthed the prime minister of Greece. He said why they are in Cyprus. So he did a lot of good for his country. Whereas Pashinyan just had the meeting and left.
Yeah.
And his people just issued a short couple of paragraph news release, which absolutely said nothing, that we're discussing normalizing relations. Nothing about what exactly they talked. Yeah. So this is the difference between somebody who knows what he's doing, Erdogan, and someone who's incompetent and doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He
wants to speak on his term. He wants to do on his term. And so he will come back to a couple of days and he'll make a Facebook conference, and that's about it. And nobody can question him. And even that Azadutun, whatever, those criminals, like they're the one who put Pashinyan in power. And they were asking, I don't know if you heard that, they was asking Pashinyan, Erdogan.
No, I watched that. There was a Azeri reporter or Turkish reporter.
No, it was Armenian, Azadutun.
Oh, during the press conference.
Yeah.
She asked, yes. She asked a question to Erdogan.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember what.
Yeah, it was like when the border you're gonna open, because Aliyev already said everything is over. So why you're closing the border? Like it was amazing. I didn't believe they asked that question.
That's exactly what she said. She said, now that the Karabakh is settled, why is the border still closed? When are you going to open the border?
Yeah.
And Erdogan gave an evasive answer, like most of his answers. But before then, there was another. As Erdogan and Aliyev were walking together, a Turkish or an Azeri reporter in Turkish was talking to them. And the minute they heard that this reporter is from Radio Liberty, which Azerbaijan has closed down in Azerbaijan, they both of them started making fun of this journalist, calling her a representative of Soros and things like this. Very insulting things they said to her. And the girl was asking if he's going to negotiate with Karabakh Armenians, and Aliyev said no. Karabakh Armenians are our citizens, and we do not let any third party, meaning Armenia, to interfere in our internal discussions with our own citizens.
Yeah.
So which is something we knew, that once Pashinyan gives up Karabakh, Armenians have no rights whatsoever. Not even autonomy, not self-determination, not even linguistic or religious freedom. They're going to be like any other Azeri, and Azeris themselves are suppressed under Aliyev, let alone the minorities.
Yeah. Is there a way stopping Pashinyan, or is too late?
Well, the only way that I can think of, a proper way, not committing crimes or anything else, is Armenian people have to wake up, both in Armenia and diaspora, by the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, and just gather in front of Prime Minister's office and demand his immediate resignation. And I'm sure if 100,000 or more Armenians gather in Yerevan and demand his resignation, he will escape in no time.
But
Armenians are not doing that. They're just sitting ducks and watching and talking to each other, not doing anything. Every time there's a call for a protest, a few people show up. And when they ask Pashinyan, well, the people are asking for your resignation, because Pashinyan always talked about the people power, that I'll do what people say. So when they say people are demanding your resignation, what do you say about this? He says, no, these people are not people. Why? Because they're not supporting him. If you're anti-Pashinyan, then you're not people. If you're pro-Pashinyan, you're people.
But Mr. Sasunian, Pashinyan have planned this whole thing so precisely. He first divided Armenians. He then turned Armenians against Karabakh and Kocharian and Sarkisian. He turned against Tashnak. He turned against diaspora. So how are you going to unite those people to go and fight them? Because even those people are divided. And so it's a hopeless situation.
Well, I know they're divided. That's a very major issue. But compared to losing the homeland, losing the country, everybody has to unite and put all their little differences aside, come together, get rid of this guy who's destroying the country, and then sit around and through democratic means, first initial transition government from all sides, and then through elections, democratic elections, elect a new leader. But that's not what's happening.
Let me run this. He's blaming Kocharian for that.
Robert Kocharianն է Ղարաբաղը ունելով 1998 թվականին բանակցային գործընթացից եւ գնալով 99 թվականի նոյեմբերով.
Did you hear that or not?
Yeah, I heard it, yes.
Yeah. So I could run it.
That's his usual trick, which we've been hearing day and night for 4 years. Every time something goes wrong, he blames the former.
Yeah.
That's because he's already decided he's going to give Karabakh to Azerbaijan. So he doesn't want to say that he did it. He says the previous ones did it. My answer is, if the previous ones gave Karabakh to Azerbaijan, why didn't Aliyev sign the agreement and take Karabakh? If you're given Karabakh and you want Karabakh,
yeah,
that's because nobody gave Karabakh. That's not what the Madrid principles say. And he talked about Madrid principles, that Kocharian gave Karabakh. That's not, anybody who read Madrid principles knows there's no such thing.
I think I have Aliyev. Let me see if this is the one.
Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty,
this is
Armenian
the one
service. Mr. President, you have said that you have had a meeting with Mr. Pashinyan today, and there are new demands on the table. Could you please elaborate? And we Armenians for a long time have been hearing that Armenian border with Turkey couldn't be opened without solving Karabakh problem.
So this is some of the videos. Pashinyan with his brothers Turks having fun there. I had one about.
Կառավարությունն ազդարարել է Ադրբեջանի վերադարձը նախաապրիլյան քաղաքականությանը, բայց մեկ տարբերությամբ։ Ադրբեջանի նախագահը հայտարարել է, որ բանակցությունների ժամանակ իրեն ճնշում ու պարտադրում են ճանաչել Արցախի անկախությունը։
Azərbaycan xalqı
Փակ դռների հետևում Ադրբեջանին ճնշում են, ստիպում են ճանաչել Լեռնային Ղարաբաղի անկախությունը։ Վերջին հանրաքվեն ցույց տվեց, որ մենք դեռ շատ երկար կմնանք իշխանության ղեկին ու չենք համակերպվի Ղարաբաղի անկախության հետ։ Ալիևը փաստացի բացել է դիվանագիտական փակագծերը, ընդունելով, որ Ռուսաստանը, Միացյալ Նահանգները եւ Ֆրանսիան Հայաստանի հետ նույն թեզն են։
Oops.
Yeah, well, Aliyev himself admitted that the Armenian side is not giving up Karabakh. He is complaining about it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything else to say, or we just wrap up this? But I feel this is a sad day for Armenians, seeing Pashinyan dream come true. I've been saying this for 4 years, and today was his day, his dream come true.
Well, we'll keep watching, and unfortunately, we know that every day that passes, Armenian situation is getting worse.
Yeah.
And Aliyev said a very interesting comment he made a few days ago, because France and the United States were saying that Azerbaijan has to withdraw its troops back to the border. So Aliyev said, "I don't care who says what. I'm going to do whatever I want." Which is exactly what Erdogan does.
Yeah, yeah.
And a self-confident and strong leader, that's the position they should take.
Yeah.
Not bow your head and say, "Yes, sir." And if they say jump, you say, "How high you want me to jump?"
Yeah.
Which is what Pashinyan does. So we're dealing with two problems at the same time. That's why it's so difficult. One is we have powerful enemies, and Pashinyan thinks he can sign a peace agreement with bloodthirsty, hostile enemies, which there will never be a peace. It's peace under duress or holding a gun to our head.
Yeah.
And the second thing is he's incompetent to run a country with so many problems. So he's making concession after concession.
Yeah, basically putting teenagers to go negotiate with the ruthless dictators. It's just as what, like if there was a leader going there, sitting in there, talking to them, coming back, giving a conference, explaining to Armenian people, you would say, okay, there is somebody doing something. Every time he goes, he come back with concession. Every single time he meet them with a concession. And every time he can talk, he tell Aliyev, come and kill a couple of more soldiers. And so this is our dilemma.
Because he put in his head this falsehood that he wants to sign a peace agreement with Azerbaijan and Turkey. Neither one of them want peace. And I said earlier, they want a piece of Armenia, not peace. And even after the September 13 attack and killing another 200 Armenian soldiers and taking more territory, when Pashinyan was asked, "Is this the people you're going to sign peace with?" He said, "Yes. Peace is even more urgent than before."
Yeah.
He refuses to see reality that with deadly enemies who are out to destroy you, you can't sign a peace agreement with them.
Yeah.
You have to strengthen the military. You have to unite the people. You have to put up a defense. Otherwise, talking about peace is a sign of weakness, and Azeris and Turks already know that this guy is weak.
Yeah.
So it's going to continue the downhill route that is embarked on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming again, and for our viewer, we're gonna do this every day or every night, and until we see the end of this. But I think Armenians are in coma. Nobody even watching anything nowadays. They don't want to see it, hear it, because they're just hopeless. And so, thank you, Harut, for coming in, and thank you for our viewers. And we'll see you maybe tomorrow night and weekend. Things are developing, and we'll see what happens. Again,
thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.